ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुताः पदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna, everyone. So, we are on chapter 2, contents of Gita summarized. We are in the last section of the chapter 2, where Krishna talks about Arjuna's question that who is Sthitapradnya? Sthitapradnya ka bhasha, and then how he conducts a devotee who is Sthitapradnya. How does he walk? How does he talk? How does he see it? Kim aseta, Kim asita. So we are in the section of Kim asita. How does he sit? And what is his reaction to the external objects in terms of sense gratification? So we talked about that a devotee who is Krishna conscious, he will always try to take his limbs inside or sense objects controlled within him, like a tortoise. When tortoise comes closer to any object, it takes its limbs inside immediately. So similar to that, we should be very, very sensible about the fact that any attraction from the Maya, we should not be able to get attracted to it, and we should control our senses in the sense that we should be able to take them inside, and we should not, uh, get provoked by those sensory objects. So, like a tortoise. So, if the tortoise is such a animal that is created by the God, that his back is very, very powerful. Even an elephant put his feet on him, he can resist that. So that's strong. So the analogy here is that our body, the devotee's body, should be so strong that any sense of sensory objects when touching us, we should not be able to get attracted towards it. We are already have taken our limbs inside like a tortoise, and we don't get provoked by any kind of sensory allurements are there in front of us. So that is what we talked about in 62, 61, and now it is 63. We have done 63. We'll just want to do the repack. recap for this one. क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः, सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः, स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशो, बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. So what happens when you get krodha? How one should control his anger. That also Krishna has talked about here. So from anger, what happens when you are angry? From anger, complete delusion arises. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. And when memory is bewildered, the intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. When the intelligence is lost, you are fallen into material pool. What does it mean actually? In Rupa Goswami has written Chaitanya Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So it says that in one of the verses that Prabhupada has quoted here, Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastunaha mumukshubhi parityago vairagyam falgu kathayate. So Prapanchikataya buddhya Hari Sambandhi Vastunah. By development of Krishna consciousness, one can know that everything has its use in the service of the Lord. So the material objects which are around us, if we are using them in the service to Krishna and then spiritualizing them. So by using into Krishna's service, we are able to purify those items. So make use of these material objects in the service to Krishna. Not that we are trying to enjoy it ourselves, because there is only one enjoyer, and that is Krishna. We are happy in enjoying, looking at Krishna is happy. That's how we should be developing our senses. That's how we should be developing our svabhava. And that's how we should be developing our daily nature as long as we are in this material world. He says, Mumukshabhi parityago vairagyam falugu kathayate. So, which kind of vairagya? It is Falugu Vairagya? No, we don't want Falugu Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya. Falugu means there is a river. Okay, Falugu river is a imaginary river, like a mirage. Yeah, mirage in where do you see the mirage, Ray?
In the desert.
In the desert. Correct. So in the desert, when you go, you are thirsty, and then you see, oh, there is a river few kilometers away from you. But when you go closer to it, there is no river. Again, you see, again you go forward, there's another river you see, but there is no river. It is actually Falugu. It's a Falugu river. It is imaginary river. So all these sense objects which we are able to see, they are actually our Falugu. They are only making fool of us. So don't get fooled by them. Come into your senses and go in the Sharanagati of Krishna. That is what Prabhupada is explaining in this 63rd verse. Any questions before we move to 64? All right. So now the question comes for the next questions that Arjuna has asked so far. How much such person move around? How does he move? Now Arjuna is asking the questions in a series of way. He asked, how does he speak? How does he walk? How does he eat? How does he sit? So Kim Asita, how does he sit? And then now he's asking how does he move around? Kim Vrajeta moves around the world, how he engages senses. So from 64 to 71, Krishna talks about how he moves around the world. So the verse is, I will say and you repeat, Ragadvesha vibhuktaistu
Ragadvesha Vivikteshu
Ragadveshavibhuktestu
Vishayan indriyaistaran
Vishayan
Vishayan
Indriyeshu
Indriyescharan
Atma Vaishvera Vidyatma
Atma
Atma
Vaishe
Atmavashera
Vidhyatma
Vidhyatma
Vishveshwariyatma
Prasadam Adhigachati.
Prasadam
Rashadam
Prasadam
Adhigachati.
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 So the translation to this verse is by Prabhupada, but a person free from all attachment and aversion and able to control his senses through regulative principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord. What does it mean by regulatory principles? Regulative principles. What are the four regulative principles for a devotee? Subandira Mataji? Are you in a position to speak or
Um,
Varun Prabhu?
No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling.
Okay, yeah, wonderful. So these are the basic, these are the four regulatory principles that one has to follow as a devotee. That no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. So these are the four basics. Within that, then we can go deeper into each of these branch. That what all is not allowed for a devotee so that he can control his senses. So, in this verse, Krishna is now answering the fourth question of Arjun, that Kim Vrajeta, which means the moving around. So, this answer is not discrete, that Lord said in 2.61. He said, Yukta Sita Matapara. Yukta means connected with, can also means engaged. So, that answer is flowing into this answer. So, what is the answer now? So, Vrajeta Kim, Vrajeta was the question. Vrajeta means to move. And Charana also means the same. So, what does one do? Vishayan Indriyas Charan. So, Indriya is. So, Indriya, the senses which move towards Charan, the senses objects. So, what does one do? For that, a person has to Atma Vaishya. One has to control his uh, one has to internalize himself and look inside by Vidhe Atma, one who follows regulated freedom by following Vidhi as per written in the scriptures. What is the scriptural injunction for this? That whatever bhoga you buy, you cook it and then offer it to the Lord, and have that as a prasadam. So that is the vidhiyate. So by that vidhi, we are absorbing anything. Even if we buy a car, first we offer it to the Lord. You put a photo of the Lord inside the car. That I'm going to use this car in the service to you. I'll take it to the temple. I will drive devotees in my car to the temple. I'll go to the work by using this car, but end of the day, when I'm getting paid, I will be giving some money in the temple's charity so that it is purifying. See, it is not possible that every cent that you have earned, you will give it to Krishna or in the temple, because you have to ultimately look after your family as well. But some portion of it, when you are giving, you are actually purifying whatever you are earning. So, Kim Vrajeta has a various dimensions to it. So, and when we are doing Vidhi Purvak, that means your Vidhi should be as per the scriptural injunction. And that scriptural injunction is given to you from whom? By Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. By Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. There was a beautiful article which I read many years ago, probably There was a Hindi book named Vividha, and there was one article written by Acharya Purna Singh. The name of the article was Sachi Virta. The first sentence it was that सच्चे वीर पैदा नहीं होते, सच्चे वीर तैयार नहीं किए जाते, वो देवदार के दरख्तों की तरह जीवन के अरण्य में खुद ही उगते हैं, देवदार के दरख्तों की तरह जीवन के अरण्य में खुद ही पैदा होते हैं. But how that happens? It is because the atmosphere around them has been created accordingly. And then they have been grown. Like when there was a freedom struggle was happening in India, everybody wanted that India should be, get the freedom from Britishers. However, everybody wanted that Bhagat Singh should be born in my neighbor's house, not in my house. Or Chandrasekhar Azad should be born in the neighbor's house, not my house, So we are so selfish that we want the freedom, but we don't want anyone from our family to go as a Bhagat Singh or Chandrasekhar Azad. We always want somebody else to do it, and then we only can enjoy that. So this is, a mentality which is called a very selfish mentality. The devotee mentality is not like that. Devotee mentality is that he surrenders himself, first of all. And surrender to whom? Surrender to the Guru. From Guru to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he goes to Radha and Krishna. Right? So it's a gradual progression in which devotee learns the process of surrendering. And that surrender is called ashraya, shelter. And once you get that shelter becomes your fundamental uh, knowledge by which you should be able to go ahead, because that is the vidhi you are going to follow rest of your life. So basically, what Krishna is talking about, how one can get the highest taste, there is a gradual process over here. And that gradual process comes from the scriptural knowledge. Raga, Dvesha, Vibhuktaistu. Put Raga, Dvesha. Put Raga and Dvesha, you put aside. There are certain things which we may like or dislike. But we have to put them aside so that we can move towards something which is better. For example, small child like to play and dislike study. That doesn't mean that he should only play or only study, but a proper balance should be brought. So Raga Dvesha Vimukhtaistu, one puts aside attachment and aversion by following scriptural knowledge, which does not ban all the things that we like to do, but only those things which are harmful for us. So that is the 4 regulatory principles. That those are banned for us. So by giving them up, we become purified and we keep ourselves out of trouble. Also, we become purified when we get higher taste. And that higher taste, as far as our Kim Vrajeta is concerned, we go to the temple, we eat only prasadam, we only get associated with the devotees. So sadhu, shastra, sangha. We listen to the sadhu, that means taking the shelter of the Guru. We read shastra, that is scriptures. And we remain in the association of devotees, that is sangha. So raga, dvesha, vimukhtaistu. So like that, whatever attachment and aversion we will have to put them aside and follow the scripture vidheyatma. Prasadam adhikachati. Vidheyatma means regulatory principles for freedom. Not that we are getting banned for it. We are following the scriptural injunction in order to do the right thing. So generally, we think of restricting as deprivation of freedom, but regulation is not always deprivation, but it can be protection. Like when mother embraces child, that is not for restriction, but can be protection. So it is what we are looking for. If we are looking for godless sense enjoyment, then scripture looks like restricting us. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Because then we are looking at the negative connotation of everything that is written in the scripture. When you go to the doctor, he gives you a prescription along with the medication that he gives. Take this medication so and so time, this medication so and so time, how many times in a day, etc., etc. So these are, and then he also writes do's and don'ts. If you have diarrhea, what to eat, what not to eat. Like that. So those are the do's and don'ts. So if I wanted to enjoy an immoral way, when the rules and regulations acts as restriction, why can't I enjoy why these rules and regulations are there? But actually, when we purify ourselves, then seek a higher, richer happiness only at the level of the soul. There is pure happiness available when we seek that happiness and it becomes our goal. Then, whenever senses enjoyment tempting us, we decide, I'm not going to enjoy that. In this case, the rule is protection. It is not only negation of the things. Ye mat karo, wo mat karo, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, do that. It is not only don't do, don't do, don't do, don't do. It is, there is a regulative principle because of which you are not doing it. And we continuously get reminded by these principles when we remain in the association of sadhu, shastra and sangha. So if there is electrical fencing around a building and whatever we want and our treasure is within that building and we are also inside that building, then we will look at that fencing as our protection. But if we think that whatever we want, all such things are outside the building, then it will look as like deprivation. Isn't it? So we have to see the rules and regulations of the scriptures as the protection rather than deprivation of the things that we want to do. So ultimately, it depends on what our goal is. If our goal is material sense enjoyment, then all rules and regulations in Krishna consciousness will look us as deprivation. But if we understand that our goal is devotional service, and my goal is Krishna Prema, developing love for Krishna, then the fencing or rule and regulation acts as protection. So regulative principles for freedom means we will be freed from things which will deviate us from Krishna. So my treasure is inside. Outside these are distractions. If we think that everything for my enjoyment is outside, then fencing is restriction and we don't want that. If we think that our goal is Krishna Prema, then they act as a protection to us. So regulative principles for liberation is to free from distraction from Krishna. A person is sick and doctor tells him to take only limited varieties of food and medicine. So that is a protection, not the negation of happiness. In order to have a bigger happiness, follow this for now, at least for a week or two, as long as your treatment is going on. So once we develop our love for Krishna, then so much of joy is available that time in loving Krishna, in serving Krishna, that becomes our goal. So prasadam adhikachati, then we will get prasad, which means we will get mercy. We will get higher taste. Paramadrishta dvartate. So when we follow rule and regulation, fixing mind on Krishna becomes easier because we become purer. Any question? See, question can come only in two circumstances. One is you understood, but you still have some doubt.
I do have
Yeah.
sorry, I came a bit late, so you may have already explained that.
Yep.
2.64, the purport, it says, if Krishna wants, the devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable. And if Krishna does not want, he shall not do that which he would have ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. Can you give me an example of each, please?
Yeah. So, see, it is all connection. So, connection to Krishna. If you have done the connection with Krishna, then Krishna will give the direction to you whether to do it or not to do it. See, the love happens between two. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan. There are three things that I talked about always. Sambandha is between the two lovers. When they see each other, they start liking each other.
Mm.
Yeah? And then they find out what he or she likes and dislikes. And by doing the things which they like for each other, what happens? The love becomes more and more deeper. And once that love becomes deeper, we don't do something which he or she does not like. We only do things which he or she likes to do. That is the prayojan. That is the final conclusion of that. Does it answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. I gave the answer in a roundabout way. However, the main objective of this answer is that look at every question in the Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana way. That how we can apply the Sambandha Abhideya. And so what is the first impression is to have love. Second is to the process by which we can have deeper love. And the third thing is when the love is deeper, then you get the fruits of it, which is prayojan. It fructifies. Okay? All right. Anyone else? We go to 65 now. So after 64th verse, Krishna will describe once we get prasad, what happens. Prasade sarva dukkhanam
प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां
anir asyopajayate
हनिर्
हनिर्
अस्योपजायते
अस्योपजायते
prasanna chetaso hiyasu
प्रसन्नचेतसो हि असु
buddhi paryavastistate.
बुद्धि
बुद्धि
पर्यावतिष्ठते
पर्यावतिष्ठते.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. For one, thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. For one, thus satisfied in Krishna consciousness, with respect to verse 64. So once you are following the uh, scriptural injunction and then you are satisfied in Krishna consciousness, then what happens? The threefold miseries. What are the threefold miseries? Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. Yeah. So those threefold miseries. So they do not exist any longer. They do exist for people who are materially conscious, but they don't exist for anymore for a person who is Krishna conscious. In such a satisfied consciousness, one's intelligence is soon well established. Does it mean that Adi Daivik, that means any famine is coming, any drought is coming, will not affect a Krishna conscious person? It will affect. It does not mean that it will not affect him, but he will take that as nature's nature, nature's nature to do so, because everyone is not following the nature's law.
That's right.
We are doing so much global warming initiatives, right, at the moment. Yeah, lot of countries are doing nuclear explosions and this and that. So we are playing with the Bhumi Devi, which is the wife of Lord Krishna. We are playing around with it. In the garbage bags, we are putting plastic bags. So that goes into landfill. And once that goes into landfill, what happens to the Bhumi Devi? What will happen to the crop? So are our trees going to eat that plastic? It cannot be dissolved, right? So we are playing with our nature, Mother Nature. So even the council says that here, don't put this into this particular bin, don't put this into this particular bin, but we try to find a workaround to somehow just push it in. We want to get rid of it from our house so that, the nonsense is gone from our house, but where is it going ultimately? The Bhumi Devi, So the nature will have its own turn to come back on us. So that's why this Adi Daivik troubles are going to be there. And we cannot deny it for that. We will have earthquakes because there's a lot of heat inside the earth. Why? Why it's happening? Because of the bad things that people are doing with this earth. So we have to be very, very careful about what and how we are acting in this nature. How are we acting with this material world? So prasade, when one get prasad, sarva dukkhanam hanir, all miseries will go away. Asyopajayate, all miseries go away for such a person. So prasanna chetaso hi asu. Such a person becomes joyful. Chetana becomes joyful. Asu, that is quickly. Asu means quickly. Prasanna chetasa. Prasanna chetana hi asu. His chetana becomes very, very joyful. And buddhi parya vashtite. And at that time, intelligence becomes rock solid or unshakable. So once we get higher taste, all miseries go away. Sarva dukkhanam hanir. How that is possible? That sarva dukkhanam hanir? So all threefold miseries will continue. We will fall sick. So this means it depends on our consciousness, because Krishna consciousness joy is so great that miseries doesn't matter. We know that is going to happen. When you are in this material world, if there is like corona, if one person gets it in the family, others are going to get it. And we know it scientifically, as well as when you are Krishna conscious, you know that it is going to happen to you as well. So be careful, be prepared, take precautions, put mask on your face, try not to go closer to the person who is infected. So taking precaution is in our hands. However, the material miseries are going to be there and they are going to affect us as well. The non-Krishna consciousness person and Krishna conscious person as well. So we can take another example. If we have to eat one dry chapati, then I may think why it is like that. But if I have so many delicious items to eat, and in that one of it is not good, then that one item doesn't matter and doesn't become that insignificant. So similarly, if I am feeling happiness at spiritual level, then material miseries doesn't matter as the happiness is so much. So as long as we are in material nature, threefold miseries will be there, but that doesn't matter as we are connected to Krishna. So Prabhupada says that, when you go to the temple actually becomes Vrindavan. Because why? Because Radha Krishna is there, devotees are there around, so it becomes Vrindavan. And not only that, wherever devotees get a satsanga, when there is a satsanga, satsanga, Krishna is available there. When you talk about Krishna, Krishna is there. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's Murti. Krishna's Murti, Krishna's mantra, Krishna's Mahamantra. Everything is same. It is only the question of our understanding that how do we develop our understanding about the Krishna consciousness. So if we are conscious about the presence of Krishna everywhere, then these miseries, these issues are not going to affect us as compared to the people, those who are not aware of this. They will affect us. All right. So when we are experiencing such happiness, prasanna chetaso, he asu, then buddhi parya vasthitate, our intelligence becomes fixed. So why it takes time for our buddhi to become fixed? Because we have wasted so much time to start and hearing the process, listening process, and then chanting process. Like I said, that unless somebody is coming from with the earlier spiritual balance, and in this life, he will start early Krishna consciousness. Like Varun Prabhu's daughter, Gaurangi. She started Krishna consciousness at such an early age. Or maybe Masha, Sumandira Mataji's daughter, She started so early in her life because she had the bank balance of spiritual life, of the earlier life, So she started early. I started very late, probably when I was 42 years old. तो मैंने बहुत पाप किए इसलिए देर से आया. So it depends what have you done in the earlier life and what was your balance. If the balance is low, it will take you time to come to Krishna consciousness in the current lifetime. But when we experience spiritual happiness, the Krishna conscious person becomes fixed and he becomes much happier than anybody else. So in 9.2, 9th chapter, 2nd verse, there is a Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Abhyayam. Susukham Kartum Abhyayam. Sukham and Susukham. Susukham Kartum. So experience will be much more deeper than it is without being Krishna conscious. So we have to decide our goal, whether we want to do it this way or we want to do it that way. When do we want to connect with Krishna? When do we want to start chanting our rounds sincerely, seriously, on a daily basis? That's the way. I'm so happy that all of you are coming to the classes every week without fail. So as I gave the example of the doctor's prescription, so you get susukham kartum abhyayam when we follow the prescription of the doctor, and we get better soon. So our ailment, whatever we had, goes away. So following the Shastra means following the prescription given by the doctor. It is that easy to understand. And reading daily at least 2 to 3 pages of the purport of Srila Prabhupada's books is much, much better. Rather than just putting, I read this, I read that. No, be serious and sincere about what you really read. See, we can have various checks and balances in sadhana card, that, oh, reading, have you done it? How much hearing you have done? I can only put that. Now it's up to you how the fair you are in terms of putting the details there. Yeah, have you really done it? If not done it, don't write it. Nobody is going to cross question you. But that check is there because uh, it reminds you that you have to do this, yeah, on a daily basis. And I have added another check there as save it for later. Save it for later. So every day you can add one row and start putting your details there. So that way you have a check and balance every day basis. And when we are chanting, don't do mobile chanting. एक हाथ में मोबाइल, एक हाथ में बाला. That is not going to help. Keep mobile in the third room or maybe in the toilet. Nobody's going to touch it. And then chant very sincerely, very sincerely. Hear out your own chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So when we do that, it develops the taste. It starts tasting so sweet in our mouth itself. And that way we get the taste of Harinam. All right. So we talked about the Kim Vrajeta. So in the next verse, Krishna says, if we do not do this, then what will happen? Nasti buddhir ayuktasya.
Nasti buddhir
नास्ति
ayuktasya.
बुद्धिरैस्तस्य
Na cha yuktasya bhavana.
Na
न
cha
न च
yuktasya
चायुक्तस्य
युक्तस्य
bhavana.
भावना
भावना
Na cha bhayata santir.
Na
न
न
cha
च
bhavaya
चाभवयतः
भवतः
शान्तिर्
शान्तिर्
santir.
Asantasya kuta sukham.
अशान्तस्य
Asantasya
अशान्तस्य
कुतः
कुतः
kutasya.
सुखम्
सुखम्
Kutaha means where, Ashantasya. The one who is Ashanta, where is he happy? It's a very simple question, isn't it? Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who is not connected with the Supreme, that is, in Krishna consciousness, can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, and without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? I was listening to a lecture by APJ Abdul Kalam. I don't know whether I read it for you last time. Um, yeah. So APJ Abdul Kalam, who was the ex-president of India, he went to UN, United Nations, and he gave a beautiful lecture. So what he says in that lecture, he spoke in the uh, uh, about a Tamil saint. He says Kaniyan Puna Kurundaranar, who articulated 3000 years back in Tamil classic Purana Nururu. He says Yadamure Yadav Makelir, which means I am a world citizen and every citizen is my own kith and kin. He said 3000 years back. As we say in India, where there is a righteousness in the heart, where there is a righteousness in the heart, there is a beauty in the character. When there is a beauty in the character, there is harmony in the home. When there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. When there is harmony and order in the nation, there is peace in the world. That is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. See, every saint of India, 3000 years back, he said this, how to have the harmony in the home. So in order to have that character first, your character should be good. In order to have that character, Krishna is defining here, because see, various saints have gave different definitions in order to bring a good character in the person. They may not have spoken directly about the Krishna consciousness. However, they have given enough indication that how the character of a good person should be. There is harmony in the home, there is a peace in the world, all that. If there was a peace in the world, would there be any war between Israel and Syria, Israel and Iran, Russia, Ukraine, India, Pakistan, like that, So many wars are going on at the moment. So there is no peace actually. There could be any kind of catalyst who is a promoter or a demoter. So how many kinds of catalysts are there, Varun Prabhu? Who was a student of chemistry here?
Catalyst. I was a student of chemistry, but
Okay. You were not a student of chemistry? You were engineer.
no, we did study till 12th.
Yeah. So that is enough. Titration किया है ना?
हाँ जी
Titration.
किया तो है, the word सुना है या याद नहीं है क्या था ये.
All right. So the catalysts are two types. One is the promoter. It promotes the faster action and demotes the faster action as well. So there are two types of catalysts. A catalyst can promote. See, when you put yeast in the in the yogurt, what happens? It starts getting even more sour than it was. The yeast is for that. It ferments. The fermentation process happens because of yeast. Yeah. So it's a catalyst which is a promoter of fermentation. If you see, when you are making a yogurt at home, what we do, we boil the milk, bring it to the room temperature or little hotter, and then we put some yogurt to it. So yogurt works as a catalyst to ferment the milk to make yogurt. Yeah. रात को रखते हैं, सुबह दही मिल जाता है अपने को. But if you want more sour yogurt, you put yeast into it. Yeast is a concentrated promoter to ferment it. So fermentation becomes faster in that. When the bread, they make breads, in the bread, the yeast is very, very important ingredient. Anyone who makes bread at home? No? If not, then get in touch with my daughter. Okay. So one who is, not connected with the Supreme can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, ultimately. So we have to have some promoter and some demoter. A promoter is Krishna consciousness. So in order to have the connection, for that connection, we have to have a Sadhu Shastra and a Sangha, which is very important aspect of a devotee's life. Okay. So, Nasti Buddhir Ayuktasya, for one who is not connected with Krishna, then it is Nasti Buddhir. Such a person does not have any buddhi. And Bhavana, steady mind. There is no peace, there is no happiness. That's what APJ Abdul Kalam's, statement says that. So it is an important sequence to understand. Unless there is some basic level of peace, there cannot be happiness. And peace comes if our mind and intelligence is focused. If we are not in Krishna consciousness, then subtle body is not fixed. It is not only, it is not fixed. The mind and intelligence is also going here and there, or going at such a pace, we don't have steadiness, so there is no peace. Na cha bhayataha shantir. This peace is not so much external, like it doesn't mean that devotees has no anxiety or are living on riverside in jungle. But in internal, I know my goal and I am working towards it. I will do this and I will not do that. Although devotee may want it to have external peace also, so that his endeavor in Krishna consciousness goes uninterrupted. So similarly, so here again what happens? What is happening? He takes the limbs inside like a tortoise. खींच लेता है अपने senses को. And don't try to get exposed to the external world, so that it will not affect his Krishna consciousness. He always tried to get connected only with the devotees. It does not mean that we should not give association to others. See, sometimes we get association, sometimes we give association. A nice devotee, a good devotee, should give association to the people, those who are non-devotees, but talk about Krishna to them. Don't start talking like that, like them. Otherwise, you are not able to control your senses. And then you start doing whatever they are doing. Right? So our devotee's good sign is that he always will talk about Krishna. Give association. And also take association, remain in the association of devotees in order to have the stronger character. So, although devotee may wanted to have external peace, so that his endeavor in Krishna consciousness goes very, very uninterrupted. So he doesn't have to worry about that. Prabhupada quotes, 5 point in the 5th chapter, 29th verse. He gives the peace formula, which we'll discuss when we'll go there. But Prabhupada said, disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal. Because I want to reach there, quickly, so I am disturbed. No, I want to go there. Oh, I want to go there. I want to go there. We should not forget that there is a gradual process to reach somewhere. If you don't have that much patience, then you will lose what you are having now. Forget about reaching the goal. You are missing the point of gradual progression to reach the goal. And your current happiness will also go away. So the ultimate goal is a relationship with Krishna. And if we serve Krishna, this way we may be able to participate and follow the principles of Krishna consciousness easily, and we should be able to steady our mind on Krishna. So in general, a person's appearance and substance may not be the same. Means a person may be peaceful externally but may be agitated internally. For example, Western countries, they are very clean externally, but internally people are contaminated. We all see that here, isn't it? Any questions? Rishi, any question? Devlina,
All good.
all good? Okay, so can you summarize what I talked about?
Did you ask me?
Yeah.
Um, so you basically are trying to explain that there are two things, Yogmaya and Mahamaya. Mahamaya is the worldly pleasures and materialistic pleasures, and Yogmaya is bhakti towards Krishna. And as a devotee, we should be in a regulated boundaries, and we should try to retrieve from any overdoings of material world, like a tortoise retrieves itself when it comes in contact with something not right and goes inside the shell.
Okay, somewhat okay. But I didn't talk about Yogamaya, Mahamaya today anyway. At least you remember something. Verse 6. See, be here in the class. Otherwise, it is not yielding any result. So I'm very blunt. I'm famous being a blunt person. What to do? This is how I am. Verse number 67. Indriyanam hi charatam
Indriyanam hi charatam
yanmano nuvidiyate
Yanmano
mano
nuvidyate
inuvidhiyate
tad asyaharati prajnam
tadasya
tadasya
harati
harati
prajnam
prajnam
vayurnavam ivambhasi.
vayurnavam
navam
ivambhasi.
nivambhasi.
Actually, the earlier words didn't have any purport, so I had to speak based on my understanding about the verse. So sometimes you don't have the purport for the verse in the book. Prabhupada actually did write that because we are the series of verses, talking about the same thing. So he tried to summarize in one verse purport for the earlier verses as well. So that's how he has written some purports. Even Bhagavatam also you will find that way. Even Chaitanya Charitamrita also it is like that. So don't get surprised. But this is how Prabhupada has done it because it will be a repetition for what he's writing. And that is the reason sometimes he has, skipped it. So translation for this particular verse that we are doing it now. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. It's hard to understand, isn't it? I read it again. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roving senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. So, like you are standing on the banks of the ocean or a river, you are concentrating on a certain particular boat or an object, and suddenly there is a big wave comes. That object goes further ahead, and you are concentrating on that. Your mind will also go away with that, right? Does that analogy make sense to you? Similarly, our mind is so fugitive, it can go away just in a fraction of a second. We have discussed this many times. That sitting here, we can be in Connaught Place. We can be 36 Chowringhee Lane, in Calcutta, immediately. Or we can be on Times Square in New York. So it is very fast. It blows away our consciousness very easily. So we are still on the discussion of Kim Vrajeta. Vrajeta Kim. How does he move around in the world? So Kim Vrajeta, Krishna is describing how one is deluded if one is not careful. So here the emphasis is on more being careful from the worldly objects. So Indriyanam hi charatam, when the senses are wandering, question was kim vrajayat yanamano yanmado. Nuvidhyate, wherever the mind is fixed, tada asya harati prajana, that will drive away the intelligence. And what? The vayur navam ivam basi, just as wind sweeps away the boat. So if we are in the Bhavasagar, this material world is actually Bhavasagar. And desires are the winds. See the analogy. Desires are the winds. And we are in the Bhavasagar. So these desires are so vulnerable. So we have to protect ourselves. And our ship is going in the ocean. There is some weather forecast. So captain prepares either change the direction or go slow. Right? And in Bhavasagar, what happens? There are some areas where storms of material desire are far greater. If we go in those areas, then it is more dangerous for us. So devotee is always careful not to go in those areas where there are more chances to get, attracted towards the material object. Don't go there. Don't get exposed to such, things. Got to be very, very careful. So where there is a danger, stay away from there. So if the people, those who don't are those who are not careful about that, and they are not able to protect themselves, the storm can sweep away. But if we don't want it to be swept away, so we will not fall prey to such directions. So how we go into this storm? Indriyanam hi charatam. Senses are wandering here and there. They are searching where can I get pleasurable objects. So senses will wander. We cannot close our senses. But if we let mind focus on it, either also in the verse it is said, dhyayato. It was not dishyato. It catches, it stares, it is devoured. Yan mano nuvidhyate. When the mind becomes focused on it, then what happens? Tat asya harati prajanam. The mind drags away the intelligence. Then one falls off. One is blown away. as the boat is blown away. It is interesting. So this verse is similar to 2.60, where there is a difference in the sense that 2.60 we discusses about the senses, sense object and mind. The senses are strong and it carries away the mind. Now we are discussing that when senses wander and mind focuses on it, the mind drags away the intelligence. So mind, intelligence and the false ego, they are connected to each other. So we have to be very careful that wherever the mind is, mind can drag it away. And our intelligence will start working in that direction. Intelligence is a developed thing that we develop over a period of time. And that development happens with the surroundings that we are in. If our surrounding is not, as per the requirement, then we will develop our intelligence in a way that mind wants to drag it away to us. Because in the mind, suppose there is something like, no, I want to have that juice. Intelligence is saying, no, you should not have that because you're supposed to have only prasadam, So take the fruits home, make the drink, offer it to the Lord, put a tulsi leaf in that, and once it is offered, you can have it. But the mind is saying, no, just forget it. Just for one day, let's go and have it. Intelligence will say, okay, let's go and have it. So we try to drag it away, the intelligence. So mind will drag it away to that shop. We buy that drink, we have it. So this is how the mind and intelligence friendship goes, together. So we have to develop our mind and intelligence together so that they remain in synchronization. And this synchronization is very, very helpful. And if we are not able to synchronize them, then it depends on how our chanting is actually going, how our reading is going, how our hearing is going. Questions? Verse number 68. तस्मादस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः
तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः
इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः
इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः
तज्ज्ञप्रतिष्ठिता
तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता
तस्मादस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता
तस्मात् तस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणि इन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, O mighty armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. Now we're still talking about the mind and intelligence here, Krishna. Therefore, O mighty armed, one whose senses are restrained from their objects is certainly of steady intelligence. So, how we do that? So that mind will not be swept away by the desire that is described in this verse. Which kind of mind is that? Tasmad yasya mahabaho. Therefore, O great warrior, you have conquered many great enemies. But how you have to conquer the greater one? That is by the senses. Nigrihitani sarvasha. So control of all the senses. Nigrihitani sarvasha. So previous verse, the emphasis was even one of the wandering senses can drive away the mind. Therefore, none of the senses are allowed to wander. So emphasis here is sarvashaha, all the senses, not only one, all the senses is the emphasis here. So indriyani indriyarthebhyasa is don't let the senses go to the sense objects. Don't let the mind focus. When the senses prolonged with sense object, mind get involved and then one start getting deluded. But when we control the senses, nigrihitani sarvasha, then tasya pradnya pratisthita. That way one becomes pradnya pratisthita. One's intelligence becomes strong. And why is he called him Mahabaho? Because Arjun, you are Mahabaho, but you have to discipline your senses by strengthening your willpower. Because his willpower is going down from the chapter one itself, when he says that, how can I kill my grandfather? How can I kill my guru-like people? How can I kill my uncle-like people? So those questions were there. So he has to, because his mind was covered by his intelligence, which was getting covered due to the love and the compassion that he had for the grandfather-like people, guru-like people. But they were standing from the Kaurava side. So they were all the enemies. So once you see from that perspective, then you understand that why is he calling him Mahabaho? One is he's encouraging him that you are a Mahabaho. Don't let your intelligence, go away like that. Because you are a Mahabaho. Get up, wake up yourself. And by saying these kind of things, Mahabaho and, various attributes that he has called him with, uh, he's trying to encourage and inspire Arjun that he shouldn't be doing such things. So the rest of the true strength is the test of true character is not just the size of one's biceps or triceps, that Mahabaho. See, by mentally also you should be strong. That's I have to do this, and I have complete faith in Krishna, and I have complete faith in my commitment and dedication that I want to do this. So mentally prepared, bodily prepared, and the intelligence is also prepared to do certain things under the order of Krishna. So when we are doing few things in the order of Krishna, then we are actually not having any issue that our intelligence will get dragged away by the air, by the wind. So that is the reason he called him the Mahabaho here. Yeah. So it's almost 3 p.m. I'll stop here. Once Shishakti Mata will come back, probably we will change the time to morning hours so that, we'll be having a 2 hours class in that case, so that, we don't have to, those who want to work, because some of you are working on the weekends as well. So I want to give them time to complete their weekend work as well, like Rishi and Devalina. Subandira Mataji is also busy. So I want them to give some freeness so they should be able to, finish their jobs the weekend. The good thing is next weekend we are getting a beautiful devotee coming to Sydney, and we all are meeting next Sunday in the temple anyway. And whom are we meeting next week, next Sunday? Reguna Chandrasekharan. She's coming to Sydney to meet all of us. And on Sunday, we'll be meeting her in the
Where
temple.
is she, Mataji? Is it somewhere else?
No,
She's
no,
not.
she's just coming to see all of us.
No, she's not in Sydney.
No, she lives in Darwin.
Okay, I'm not aware of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so beautiful, isn't it? She wants to see all of us and see whether we really, exist in person.
Good.
Yeah. So she's arriving on Sunday early morning, am I right? 6 a.m.
25 is it Sunday?
Yeah. No. 27th is Sunday. Sorry.
I'm arriving on Friday at 6 a.m.
Oh, Friday you are arriving. Okay, good. So we can still meet on Friday as well. Friday evening I come there for Kirtan in the temple.
Yep.
So we'll meet you in the temple on Sunday, Friday. Oh, okay. Hopefully I'll try and give a Sunday feast class on Sunday, the day when we have service. So I have to just go and tell Nityananda Pran Prabhu that give me a slot. So let's do a Vaishnava Pranam and then we can stay back and talk about other things. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagavan ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.